What's up, guys? It is that Panagon. I'm here again with another video, and today we're talking about the Off Limits War beta event. So this is supposedly testing. I did want to talk a bit about it, give my thoughts on it. As it is a new event, it is kind of interesting. This does seem to be the event they're going to be using for the World Championship tournament format, as they did mention previously, before even mentioning this event, that they were going to be using a map that was unannounced. Not to mention, they did I believe they announced it the other day that this is going to be what they're using for the championship format. Whatever the case, this is really interesting, so we will be able to see tomorrow how this looks. I am happy, by the way, that this registration was today, because if it was tomorrow, if it was fighting, if I had to fight during the day tomorrow, I would have been kind of annoyed, as it is my birthday, so I was going to be kind of pissed off. But let's actually just talk about the event. So, troop, you do have a upper limit of 6 million troops here, so there is that. You can register with up to 6 million troops, so even if you have 200 million troops, you can only send in 6 million. I don't believe, by the way, that your troops impact your rating. I tried removing them, tried adding them, didn't do anything. I don't know if removing armaments actually changes it at all. Guess you could test that. I don't really think it's worth it either way, because when you do look at the reward drop off from, like, for example, if you go from Apex to Elite, if you drop, you get the squad damage debuff. Not to mention the rewards for, 4th place in Apex is literally better than what you're gonna get in 1st place in Elite. I will say the caveat is that when you drop from Elite to Fearless, the rewards here are slightly better than the last place here. You can't drop 2 zones at one time, so if you are registered, like if you're within the rating area of Apex, you can't drop from Apex to Fearless. But if you are within the Elite area, you can drop from Elite to Fearless. The damage squad debuff being 30%. I don't really know why the debuff is lower on the drop from Elite to Fearless, as you would imagine that it's actually kind of more of a bully zone. Maybe it's because Apex has a higher upper limit. Not really sure on that. So let's actually just talk about everything. I will say the rating for this, I would assume, is based on, like, for example, your matchmaking is probably based on your team rating. So I would actually say that, like, the smartest strategy might be registering one whale and then registering people that are literally bottom of the bottom of, potential Apex here. Either way, let's get into the rules. So these rules are kind of interesting. They do mention mechs here. I do want to say, as we talk about mechs, it was mentioned in, I think it was gameplay, right? It does mention that mechs are currently unavailable in beta. So do note that that these mechs that I'm going to be talking about are not available as of now. So let's talk about this event. Shelter of Hope. No outsiders are allowed in the off-limits zone, but commanders can use the abandoned buildings as temporary shelters. So this is a little interesting. It says no outsiders are allowed in the off-limits zone, but commanders can use these abandoned buildings as temporary shelters. Does that mean that you can jump in these for safety or something if somebody's chasing you? Not really sure. It does say, like, it's a shelter of hope, so maybe it's like supposed to save you and you can hide in here if somebody's chasing you around. So then if you have kind of bigger fish to fry, you're like, okay, well, you're safe, you can get out, you can go scatter somewhere else. I'm not really sure. This does seem a little bit interesting though. Big device, an abandoned crystal mining base. Once captured and activated, it continuously gathers energy crystals. The faction with the most energy crystals, with the most crystals win. The big devices are, probably these different buildings that they're going to talk about in gameplay, right? Small device, medium device, and big device. So it's just kind of different devices. Mech, brand new kind of combat unit capable of clearing all obstacles for your faction once under your control. I will talk about that as we go through it, as it does kind of go more in depth in the rules. An old hospital, utilizing new rapid medical technology, soldiers fighting in the off-limits zone return to battle faster and will not die. Let's keep going. During the off-limits war event, the commander's overall strength will be evaluated, and based on this, they will be divided into 4 war zones. Players who meet the minimum war zone strength requirements can register to participate. It says 4 war zones. It only mentions 3. I'm assuming the last is budding war zone, kind of how we do with normal events. The higher the level of the war zone, the stronger the opponents and the greater the rewards. The first day of the event is the team up phase. Commanders can choose their preferred war zone and time slot to register or team up with comrades to participate together. Commanders can register for war zones up to one level below their own, like I mentioned. However, to ensure fair matchmaking, the commanders who register for lower level war zones will receive different debuffs during the combat, so please keep that in mind. Combat in the event requires the use of commander's own troops. When registering, commanders must choose to bring in a maximum of 6 million troops. If no troops are selected, the system will automatically bring the maximum number of troops the commander has during the event. Troops will not become heavily wounded and will not die in battle. So don't worry about fighting. Just fight like you would in Pompey. After the team up phase ends, the matchmaking phase begins. During this time, commanders cannot register or modify the warzone selection. The system will evaluate the total strength of the registered teams. This one's kind of confusing because I was looking at the event when I was looking at it, right? And I don't really understand it, right? Because it has like a timer on it, and it kind of would imply that you instantly like can get into fighting soon after this. Is the matchmaking phase like 30 minutes or something? I'm not really sure. This one's a little bit confusing to me. Maybe I'm just like overthinking it. But after matchmaking, the combat phase begins. The event is divided into 4 time slots: 3 UTC, 350, whatever. I mean, you see all the times, right? 13 UTC, 15 UTC, and 19 UTC. You can choose all these times. They're all 35-minute time slots, so you fight for 35 minutes. Commanders must participate according to their registered time slot. Each battle in the off-limit war lasts 35 minutes and takes place on a brand new map. Upon entering the map, ensure that the shelter does not have battle fever, no squads are deployed, and there is no reinforcing squads. There are no reinforcing squads in your alliance center, so there's nothing in your base. Off-limits war is a point-scoring competition involving 4 squads. And by the way, I was confused about this at first. Squads is referring to like teams. I don't know why they even use this like they use squads as normal squad terms. So why would you say involving 4 squads? I don't know. They just triggered me slightly. But 4 squads is referring to actual teams. So like 4 teams, like 4 groups. By capturing device, squads will continuously generate and earn energy points. The squad with the highest points at the end of the event wins. The mech will refresh at fixed times on the map, so maybe every 5 minutes, maybe every 10 minutes, whatever the case. After defeating them, these mechs can be controlled to fight for your squads. Obviously, this is an unexplored feature that we won't be able to explore with the new event because obviously it is not. It is still in beta, which they have signified that is unavailable in beta. So, I am looking forward to this feature, though. It does seem kind of cool to introduce something new in a new game mode. Kind of looking forward to it. I do wonder if they're going to have it available for the tournament or not, but I guess we'll see. So safe zone. You cannot be attacked by enemies within the safe zone. Okay, so it's showing the same thing as the Shelter of Hope, and it shows like as if like there's like a little kind of radius on it, somewhat similar to helipads, right? In Pompey, though in this case it does look like it's just to hide your squads. You cannot be attacked by enemies within the safe zone. When squads march out of the safe zone, they gain a temporary boost in movement speed. This kind of reminds me of Water War, how when you leave the little safe zone area, you have a temporary boost in like your speed, and then you kind of lose it after like 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever. Whenever you bring mechs in here, it continuously recovers HP within the safe zone. So small device opens at the start of the event. Capturing it for the first time grants first capture points, and continuously holding it grants a small amount of accumulated points. Points captured by the small device can be plundered. Refer to the building pop-up window to view the plunder ratio. For people that do not understand how this works I would say look at Genesis War. Whenever you capture the science hub from an enemy, I believe you get 30% of the existing points there. So if there are 100,000 points sitting over the science hub, you get 30,000 of those points robbed off of them. It might be a different ratio, but I would assume what's it called? I would assume this is like, maybe 10%, medium devices, maybe 20%, and maybe the big device is 30%. You get what I'm saying? But let's keep going. Opens 1 out of 10 minutes after the start of the event. capturing it for the first time grants first capture points, and continuously holding onto it grants a large amount of accumulated points. This device closes 12 out of 22 minutes after being open. By the way, I want to just say, I hate the developers so much just because of this. They suck at explaining stuff. Why would you say one out of 10, like 1/10, 1 out of 10 minutes after the event starts, right? Why don't you just say 1 out of 32, right? Or sorry, 1 out of 35, because the event's 35 minutes long. Is there some sort of special reason that you have 10 here, right? Am I tripping? Am I just tripping, guys? Am I sped? Am I a sped head? Can you like explain in the comments if I'm just tripping over nothing? Like, why would they say like 1 out of 10 minutes after the event, the start of the event, right? Why not just say 1 out of 35, right? I don't know. Even this one, right? This device closes 12 out of 22 minutes after being opened. Just say 12 minutes after being opened, right? Like, this pisses me off, dude. Points produced by the medium device can be plundered. Refer to the building pop-up window to view the plunder ratio. Opens 22 minutes after the start of the event. This is the big device. Capturing it for the first time grants a first capture points reward, and continuously holding onto it grants a large amount of accumulated points. Points produced by the big device can be plundered. Refer to the building pop-up plunder ratio, right? So it does say, like I said here, opens 22 minutes after the start of the event, right? I'm assuming this goes from the 22 minutes to the 35 minutes. Let's go into the mechs. So mech, currently unavailable in beta, so we will not be able to actually test these. So this is the flying mech, seemingly. Rapid fire machine gun, deals single target damage, and basically these have the same function. So with, you basically deal bonus damage to rallied, garrison, and mech squads. There's an explosive missile. It's an AoE type missile that does damage, bonus damage against rally, garrison, and mech squads. You can probably deal damage to actual units, but the damage is, probably far less than, against, compared to like rally, garrison, and whatnot. And then there's also this ground unit kind of mech that you also have the same exact kind of abilities for. And here, showdown time opens 22 minutes after the start of the event. During showdown time, the plunder ratio for all devices increase, and all damage dealt by rally squads / garrisons squads is increased. I don't really understand this unless it's to just prevent you from swarming as much or make swarming kind of less viable. But I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think about this. You guys let me know your thoughts on this whole event. Honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I do think it's going to be a kind of cool event, but I want to hear what you guys think about it. I will probably do a, recording of it and do a kind of video on my first playthrough of it. But I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think. It does seem like a kind of cool event, so I am, looking forward to it. But you guys have a great day or night, though, and I will see you guys in the next video. And that is about it. Peace out.